I mean, I don't think, oh, that's a stupid idea. I'm always the one to say, hey, listen, bad ideas spawn good ideas. I mean, you need sometimes that bad idea to get to the good idea.
And we get like analysis paralysis is such a common phrase. We use it every freaking day at work, but it's true. When you stare at something for too long or you overthink it, it just all merges into one and there's no different way to see anything.
I got so kind of crippled by trying to finish in the time I had. There was no time to be like, well, I don't know what comes next. Well, what did this happen? There was just no time.
Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank? Can we be frank?
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Can We Be Frank? We're excited to have you here today for another thought-provoking episode of Can We Be Frank, where the whiskey may be on ice, but the talk is always straight up. I'm Derek, here always with Robert, Mike, and Ruby, and we're excited to chat a little bit today. I wanted to start off the episode by giving Mike a little bit of grief. I noticed in the last episode that you seem to have an affinity for touching your ears, and you relayed to me that your EarPods fell out and that you just recently figured out the secret to EarPods, and I want to hear it.
Well, wait a minute. I'm confused. There's a wrong way to... It's pretty simple. I believe you just insert...
Well, so you can take them and you can put them in with this piece being facing down, or you can turn them this way and then it like folds into the flap of your ear. No. And that's supposed to hold them into place.
AirPods. Never did I think I'd hear it.
No.
That's what it says.
If you fold the stem into the flap of your ear, guess what's in the stem?
The microphone.
Yes.
Right? Yes. I don't know. That's what I said. It's still not working.
And you tried the bigger tip, Mike?
Excuse me?
Don't. I knew the minute I said it.
Maybe you need a smaller tip, Mike. There's a
perhaps.
You've got to sort of put them into like active mode. You know, like with Crocs where people kick up the back. But you've got to put them in and then turn them up a little bit, like an old school airy walkie. Maybe you've just got little ears, Mike. That's fine. We accept all ears on this show. In this conversation, small ears, big ears, same
ears
thing.
Are welcome.
Yeah.
So yes, that's why I was touching my ears though, and it's annoying. So now I'll order there's the hooks that you can buy that you can attach to them that'll keep them on the ear. So, yep,
in place. Well, you got to do what you got to do. But I thought you found the secret. I was so excited.
It's better, but it's not.
Sad to see that it didn't work out that way.
Well, almost secret. I'd like to know if anyone else tries it, if it works for them.
Yeah. Apparently, it's the correct way. The video said this is the correct way to wear your...
Now I'm going to be fiddling with my ears. I might have to go back to my
I don't think it's the correct way.
So Tim Cook specifically said this is how you wear...
Well, that's
how you wear the EarPods.
If you go by Apple videos, the official Apple videos, I doubt they're folded in the ear flap or whatever that person's saying.
All I saw was like, okay, maybe it would hold it into place for me. And I wanted to give it a try because I knew I wasn't using the microphone, because I thought the same thing that you thought, Robert. It was like, that's not right, because then the microphone's up inside your ear. No.
Now, I had the Bose Sleep Buds, and those are made, they have the tips that are made to click into that little fold you're talking about. But those are designed that way. Yeah,
so that you can sleep
sleepers.
on them. Is that the premise that you could put?
What do you have in them when you sleep? You have like subliminal messaging when you sleep? What?
Yes, telling me I'm good enough, I'm smart enough.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
Does it hook into that top bit? I had a pair of those for the gym.
Yeah, it's kind of like in the little
like flappage.
The ear. Yeah, the flappage.
Yeah.
What it does, which is pretty cool, is you can put on whatever you want, little music to help you go to sleep, and it senses once you're asleep, and then it goes to like white noise of your choice.
Oh, nice!
Oh, that's really cool. Wow,
I like that.
That's fancy.
Yeah, they're called like. Well, no, I'm sorry. It used to be Bose, but it was bought by this company. Like, and I'm blanking on the name. Hop up there.
Yep.
Her name,
affiliate link.
Buds. Yes.
You seen those cool things where you put the thing under the pillow and you can hear through the pillow, but you only hear it when you only hear it when your head's on it. You can't, like, the rest of the room can't.
What is that, like a frequency thing instead of a speaker, or is it like vibrational?
I think so. It's some sort of special speaker. If I get a picture of it, I'll put it up there. But yeah, I saw like an ad for it. Now they claimed it worked awesome. I personally haven't tried it, but that's great for people that need white noise, but then their sleeping partners like,
right, they don't want to hear it.
You know, like, I don't know. That's a whole nother topic of things, like people that I like a TV to go to bed, and your new fiance or whomever that you've decided to now cohabitate with is like, no, I hate the TV. Like that, we could do a whole episode on people, how you get along when you move in together, I swear, because everybody has such strange habits, and you don't realize
you never really know someone until you live with them.
Cohabitating.
For sure.
Well, that's the benefit of getting married young, you see, because you just develop your strange habits together.
Yeah,
that's the secret to long marriage. So it's Oslo, Ozlo, Sleep Buds 2 just came out.
Oh,
but was it just one before?
It was
like
just
you only got one at a time?
Well, no, you got 2, but it was version 2, I should say.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Like you got to pick an ear.
Yeah, you know what? I looked because I considered it, but I thought maybe it was a slightly thinner profile because they still are not super comfortable for me. Side sleeping, but they're not. They're the same size. It's, I don't know. It could read more about your heart rate and REM and deep sleep and
crazy
brain waves and all that.
Dreams. It's like it knows what you want. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yes.
And then it sends it to the government, and then the government knows.
There's a kill switch.
I'm sure.
They just kill you in your sleep. If there's.
That's what the thing is in the boroughs. Have you guys watched that Netflix show? It's by the Duffer Brothers who made Stranger Things, and don't waste your time if you haven't watched it. It's not worth watching. Really, the great actors in it, but the acting's terrible. It's almost like slapstick. But the whole thing is, spoiler alert, there's aliens that come, like, they feed off of old people in their sleep. It's like a little sleepy town that people go. It made me think of it, of like, they just hook into take everything from your brain whilst you're sleeping. Maybe this is part of it. Maybe this is a real life thing.
It might be.
Oslo, guys, let's find out.
Yeah. We may lose our sponsorship, but it's worth.
Well,
exploring.
maybe they should send us some things to try out, and we can see, confirm or deny.
Yeah, I'm yet to be convinced. So if you're listening, we'll take free samples for sure. So today we want to chat a little bit about creativity on demand, and just when you work in a job that requires you to be creative, how do you get in the mood to be creative? And even if you're not an inherently creative position, even doing things like project management and stuff requires you to have some level of creativity somewhere in there. How do you get in the mood to do that, during the day? So I'm really excited to hear Robert's take on this, because as a writer, you tell us all the time about, I go away, I'm going to write, and that's the way you do it. I'm really curious to see why you do it that way, and if you can do and how you do your job on a day-to-day when you can't isolate yourself like that when you do big projects. So I'm excited to hear it from Robert's perspective, and because we all kind of serve in different ways in the production pipeline, I'll be curious to hear Ruby and Mike's take on it as well. So
I don't want to start.
Who wants to get us started?
I'll come in somewhere in the middle. But I will say that this does not.
Does that help creativity?
Well, sometimes. Well, I'll try.
We'll find out. Stay tuned. Let's
see.
Going through this topic,
it's iced tea.
Is it just iced tea?
I did not just.
It was a filled up cup. Actually, I noticed it.
Sure, it is.
Right.
There we go.
I did not down half a glass of whiskey.
But if you did, no one would judge you. You're in the right place. It's just going to add to the conversation.
I have blood work tomorrow, so I'm trying to make sure there's no liver alarm bells.
That's what my dad does. He go when he knows he has the blood work. He'll go a little easier on the adult beverages for like the week before, and then he's like, came back clean, and I was like, no kidding.
And it may not have been a full week, but I figured the night before, at least I should. Okay, sorry. Go on, Ruby.
I'm going to jump in for the topic because I want to just I'm not going to answer specifically, but I want to comment on the theme of creativity, where it's like, some people feel like it's part of their jobs and it isn't. And I'm going to be that nerd that looked up the definition as part of this topic, because creativity, there's different types. So whether like artistic is in very much writing stories, painting pictures, making music, problem solving, and this is the Wikipedia definition, so I'm sure it's accurate. Finding smart and new ways to fix daily issues. I feel like that's so much around technology and operations and anything. I'm sure it translates to any industry, but very much the world that Mike and I met in, and definitely hugely important to have a creative brain there. So I think there's going to be some good stories and some good themes from that. And scientific, another creativity, apparently. I wouldn't have immediately jumped there, but inventing new tools and forming original theories, which is so applicable to that world of program management and business improvement and the sort of things that, again, Mike and I met through. So definitely want to hear, Robert, from your creative side, and Derek and Mike from your more production focused sides, but comes into so many different lanes. And I'll pull from something that Robert mentioned when he threw up this topic of, a lot of people feel like they need to have something before they can start to be creative. And actually it comes from so many different places that sometimes, and this is going to be my same view as with education, when you overthink it and have so much formality, a lot of the time you're going to get stuck at the first step. So it's a very interesting topic to break down.
Yeah, starting from a blank page is extremely difficult. And that's why I like your definition, because the creativity that comes with problem solving, you're not starting, in my opinion, you're not starting at that blank page. Somebody's set something up, you have to solve a problem. I thrive on that, and I love doing that. And I don't need to like psych myself up or necessarily get into like a mood to be able to do that type of work. Like if there's a problem to be solved, I can easily just jump on in it. Maybe it's the sense of urgency that you get, that people are waiting for me to solve that or someone to solve it. We need to do it now. I automatically kind of feel this drive to do it. But like editing these podcasts, for example, is like my creative outlet. I love doing it, but I need to be in the right headspace to do it, or at least to do the non-technical parts of it. I mean, you can import the footage and set some stuff up, do the technical stuff. That's going through the motions. But to actually sit there and add in the cool insets and cutaways and just, even change the camera angles and, try and make it as good as possible, I need to be in the right mindset to do that.
What is that mindset, Derek? So before, we'll let everyone know, before the intro, Derek does his woo-saw to ground.
Well, it helps to be drunk. No, not drunk. But I can't be tired. I learned that it's very helpful for me to not be. I can do it towards the end of the day, but not at like midnight. Like if I would feel really bad to have to do it at like midnight, 1 a.m., trying to cram it in because we wanted to release it. That would drive me nuts. It wouldn't go as well. So I definitely need to not be tired, not necessarily bright-eyed and bushy-tailed first thing in the morning, but I definitely need to have some energy in the tank, or it's just frustrating. It's not fun anymore for me.
That's a really good point, because I think everyone's different. I actually spoke about this today in the office. Like I'm up in the morning, jump in, love the chaos, like feel a lot of energy in the morning, and the longer I go in my day, the more that depletes, and I get like my tank drains very quickly after my excitement in the morning. Whereas someone on my team said she likes to like bank up everything, get a load of ideas, write down what she needs to do, and then in the evening she'll sit down and she'll smash out whatever it is that she's going to do, and that's her most productive place. But it's different strokes for different folks. I think I would struggle with the starting at the end, right? What's the challenge? What's the problem? How can I be creative about it? In my own head, I'll get a lot less far than if I was with other people brainstorming and bouncing ideas off. That's my, if I get stuck on something, I'm going to pull someone else in. Let me bounce the thing off you. Let me see what you think. Let me sort of pick up the energy and vibe off of what the other person's saying. But not everyone's like that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I find productivity for me is the most when I also can be left alone to focus. If it's not a super collaborative type thing during the day, because you have so many Zoom meetings and people are bugging you for stuff, or you're sitting there monitoring your email because you just know someone's going to email and ask you for something. It really takes me out of it. Whereas towards the end of the day, I can almost ignore my email and then just focus. And I like that quiet. So like, I never had a problem working weekends because it's so much quieter. Like, no one's bugging you. Most people are out relaxing, which is what I should be doing. But instead I'm doing work, but at least I can focus while I'm doing the work because everyone else is out having fun, leaving me alone. So that's my take on it. Yeah, and we had a brief chat the other day, Mike, where you were like, because you're so good at just, people just hearing out their problems and helping them. And a lot of the times you don't necessarily need to give them advice. They just want to vent. But it's really hard to do, though, to be the person that that vent because you want to help them, but sometimes helping them is literally just listening to them because they just need to get it off their chest.
I think in a lot of the jobs with, project management and stuff, and when you're trying to collect information and blockers and understand where the problems are lying, it is so much about listening to the person on the other side of you and understanding what is the root of the problem. Is it what they're actually talking about, or is it something else there that you can? So I think it's listening between the words too, and that's where I think I can, at least try to be helpful, even if. There's many a conversation where it has nothing to do directly with me, but it's still, hey, maybe I can lend a piece of advice or offer something up to help you get unstuck in whatever it is that they're dealing with.
I was going to say, I think it's interesting here you talk about collaboration on project management and creative solutions in that way. And I was thinking, as far as writing, there's kind of two camps. There's the staff writer, or where you have a room full of writers on a TV show, and that's how you work. You kind of collaborate, and you're pitching, and you're going back and forth. It's typically a showrunner, kind of funnels all the ideas and chooses what works and what doesn't in their mind. And then there's the more solitary feature writer, and your problem solving is kind of on your own for the most part, which I prefer. I shut down in the group environment. I've realized I have two modes, which is the listening mode and creating mode. And I can't do them simultaneously. So what would happen in a room full of, it's like one.
You're like an iPhone.
It's like I can't, it's not like a two-way street. So in a room, I would totally shut down creatively because I wanted to be present, listening to everybody's ideas. And it was hard for me to concentrate on my own. So I much prefer the alone in a room, wrestling with my own solutions.
How does it work at work, like in a work setting?
Well, if they're asking me for a solution, I can have a discussion. But once it becomes like a group of 3 or 4 people, if we're talking particularly story or writing, I have to go off and create and then come back with ideas. And then I'm there to discuss them, but I have to be very, very, very comfortable with someone to collaborate creatively. I think it goes to just you're putting yourself out there. For me, your ideas are very personal, and nobody wants to be thought of as like, well, that's a bad idea, or that's stupid. So I have to feel free to have stupid ideas, which I feel totally free to do on my own or with my wife. But other than that, very few people like Jim. Mike knows Jim Prater. He was one of the few people I could write with where I didn't feel anything I said would be judged. So I don't feel super comfortable collaborating with people. And I don't judge. Well, I do. But I don't think, oh, that's a stupid idea. I'm always the one to say, hey, listen, bad ideas spawn good ideas. I mean, you need sometimes that bad idea to get to the good idea, which I totally subscribe to in my own creation, but I just don't like to do it with other people.
It's a bit of like practice what you preach kind of thing. Yeah. Or don't practice what you preach.
Don't practice.
It's a lot easier to say than to do, though, sometimes, isn't it? I've noticed that a lot.
It is. I remember and I learned from this. Mike, you've heard this story. When I was writing Halloween H2O, and there was a draft that I had turned in, and one of the executives said, "Hey, my assistant had some notes on the script, but he's really kind of reticent to tell you. He doesn't want to speak up." And his name was Andrew, and I said, "Andrew, absolutely, please. There's no such thing as a bad note. Doesn't matter, if you read it and you have input, I want to hear it." Well, he gave the note, and I don't remember what it was, but I said, "That's the worst note." I just called him out on it, which is terrible of me to do, but it was a bad note. But anyway, he ended up running, I believe it was Focus Features some years later.
Nice.
And took great satisfaction in passing on one of my scripts.
Ouch.
Yeah, and I'm happy to have been there to close that, help him get that revenge. It tends to be my lot. Like anytime I've acted out in that way, my karma is fairly instant. Now it wasn't this because this was the note from someone else, another producer, which is more nubile young bodies.
Geez, that was an last episode.
That
one of the other
was
episodes.
Note, but it was something along those lines where you're like, okay, no.
What does that note mean?
That's not
discussed.
Young naked women. They wanted more young naked women in the script. So you didn't want to talk character, you want to talk story, you want to talk plot points, you want to talk whatever, arcs. I don't, no, that's not a note. That's annoying to me. Which goes back to, yes, our excessive nudity. Lazy podcast. But
I was going to segue into something so weird to segue into then, which now I feel like I have to do because I've said it because I don't like the awkward silence. I have my creative thoughts. I feel like it's sometimes if I'm not thinking, and the shower is like one of those places where I'm not overly thinking about anything, or I'm like driving and you're just like in a bit of autopilot. My thoughts I'm not trying to think to a conclusion. I feel like that's one of the things I get stuck on sometimes with solutioning for anything is you overthink it. And
both of those solutions.
That's like the worst thing. Yeah.
Both of those are things I implement.
Oh, there you go.
Showers and driving.
Everyone should shower, I will add, but as a sort of meditative space, there really is, yeah.
And I think Aaron Sorkin had said he'll take half a dozen showers a day sometimes when he's writing.
Wow.
That's interesting.
I mean, it drowns out, the noise because it's almost like a white
like an
noise,
autopilot.
The water.
Which
I
is
think
like
that's what it
driving.
is. Yeah, it's just doing something. Actually, the other thing, if I walk my dog just outside, it's normally sunny in LA, luckily, but just being outside doing something that is where you're not actually thinking too much about it. Walking the dog, shower, driving, and I seem to have such good ideas as well. So much so, and Robert, I recommend this if you don't have one. I have a waterproof notepad in my shower that you can write on just with a pencil. I actually bought them for gifts in Christmas stockings last year. So I think that's fascinating. I have thoughts, or I remember something I needed to do, or I'll think of like a really good way to approach something. And a lot of the time it's at work as well, as sad as that is, thinking about work outside of work. I'll be like, oh, I know what I could do about that. And just write my little note on the notepad in the shower. It's the best.
Much better than what I do, which is get in and out to the iPhone.
It's exactly what I used to do. Get out and just type it in my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's better. Waterproof notepad. Is it electronic? Or?
No, it's just a waterproof notepad, as in the paper's waterproof. You get a pencil, stick it to the shower. Yeah, or to the wall.
Amazon link.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll send it. We'll add it. I'll create it.
That is definitely one of mine. Yeah, showers, driving. Yeah.
Because I think it's where does creativity come from? I wonder if this is why you struggle with it in the room setting compared to on your own as well. Like, what is it that triggers that creative path? It's such a different place than trying to be like cognitively dividing a solution. Like, it's not analytical. It's the opposite, right? It's open box. It's like possibilities.
Yes.
I think myself into getting stuck sometimes. And we get like analysis paralysis is such a common phrase. We use it every freaking day at work, but it's true. When you stare at something for too long or you overthink it, it just all merges into one and there's no different way to see anything.
Well, when Derek talks about the blank page and you're looking at fade in and then you have to fill 100, 120 pages, that the possibilities at that point are endless, and you can absolutely succumb to that analysis paralysis. It's a real thing. Mm-hmm. So it is picking a lane and going. One of the ways I get now, obviously I've done this before. I open the script and type fade in. But when you're just starting from zero and you're just trying to, and you have that kernel of an idea, music is a big one for me. I'll listen to music in the genre of the film I'm writing. And then I'll just close my eyes and imagine the movie trailer.
That's cool.
Typically in a movie trailer, you have your set pieces, your main characters, your hook, your story, right? You're not giving away everything, but it kind of gives you those road posts, those signposts you can hit. So that's a nice kind of starting point to start hanging the rest of the script on. That's a big help for me. Or even later on in the development, if I still feel like it's lacking some set piece or some exciting stuff, I'll just start picturing the trailer or what visually is interesting or character-wise.
That's really cool.
Yeah,
it's almost like a mood board in your head.
It is, yeah. And I love trailers. Like a good trailer. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the trailer is better than the movie. But it's always fun to visualize that.
Take an example of where a trailer is better than the movie. There's a new thing on Netflix called The Last House. And they've got a house, like a tiny little house on a billboard on Sunset that someone was living in. And we drove past it. We had friends over. We drove past it and we... Like, that's so cool. What a great marketing thing. Watch the trailer. I was like, this seems amazing. It's not amazing. It's the opposite. But the trailer was a freaking massive hook. It makes it look so exciting.
So interesting.
Yeah. There's so many good... Hereditary, which turned out to be, we talked about it, a film that I thought was very strong in the first couple acts. But that trailer, I remember thinking, oof, that looks amazing. That's a good trailer.
It wasn't.
It was, for me, the third act, it kind of fell apart in the third act. But
do you prefer the trailer that, obviously a new trailer should give everything away, but do you prefer the trailer that doesn't have any spoilers, or do you like
I don't like a total teaser, like where I get nothing. I want to see some of the big moments, but not everything. I want them to hold some surprises back. So I don't feel like I saw the whole movie, which tends to be the...
Yeah, that's so many times you watch these trailers and you're just like, why, that's the movie. What more could I possibly... I mean, you still watch it. I mean, I do, because I'm like, well, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe something cool will happen. But although, to be fair, off the top of my head, I can't think of the last one that was like that. You have friends that do a lot of trailer editing, right, Robert?
I do. It's an art, yeah.
You can be a decent editor, but that's a whole nother level. Like, I can do some technical edits. I do enjoy editing these podcasts, but like the creativity of picking the scenes of a trailer like that to generate the hook. When I do edits and get that same kind of feeling, and I'm like, oh, I did a good job here. It's the greatest feeling in the world. But the amount of like nervousness in my stomach trying to get there, if I'm expected to deliver something like that, makes it really hard for me, because it's an incredibly challenging task to carve out a trailer like that. When you finally get that cut and it works out perfect, it's the greatest feeling in the world. But up and until that point, at least for me, I'm literally just throwing everything at it and being like, nope, that sucks. And it's just constant nope. When you finally get something that works, same way for you, you just...
Which is writing. It's the same thing. Bad idea. Scene isn't working. And then there could be one little twist on the scene or one little added element that you go, oh, that makes everything. I'm Mike knows this, but I'm going to be going off to write a spec. Sooner than I'd like. Next week, I will not be unavailable for a week or so. But I'm in the process of kind of beating out the beat sheet and the outline and the treatment, and I'm going through this process of hitting walls and not having ideas and imagining the trailer and listening to music. Oh, another thing for me is watching movies in a similar genre, good, bad, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. It just helps to kind of live in the world. Auto writing, where you just type. You try and turn off the filter.
That's part of your process, Robert, then too. Like you're saying, you get all of those types of things in order before you go off and write. You're not going away to write the script, having to, get the treatment and the beat sheet together. Like you're going away and you've already got that.
It's not as, now I know some writers who will go off with a 40-page treatment. It's not that. I have signposts, like I was saying earlier, pretty good ones, but not everything. Because if there's no discovery in the writing process, then it becomes too laborious for me. There's that. And you want to have enough room that if while you're writing, the characters want to take you somewhere else or kind of go make a left instead of a right, you have room to do that. You're not kind of locked in. But I'm thinking on this one, we'll see. I have until Sunday. But I might be writing the scenes that I know are in the movie. It's what I did on Pray for the Devil, the first draft. I got so kind of crippled by trying to finish in the time I had. There was no time to be like, well, I don't know what comes next. Well, what did this happen? There was just no time. So I'd write till I don't know what happens next, but I know this scene's in the movie at some point, and I'd write that scene. And then and I know this scene's in the movie. I'd write that scene. And then that kind of frees up your mind. And by that time, hopefully you finish those things. You've come up with a solution for that first thing, and you go back and you just got to keep moving forward at a certain point if you want to get a draft. You can always rewrite.
Yeah. That's a lot how I work. What you just described, Robert, was like, I'll work until I hit something, and then because I have so many other things going on, I'll jump over to something else and then just start running with that. So this is like, and while you're working on that other thing, you're still mentally processing all of the other things that are happening with that you can then come back to it and be like, okay, I have a new fresh perspective on how to pick up where I had left off and was otherwise blocked. So it's kind of similar to what you're saying. Yeah.
It's very good of you to pick those things back up. That's the key though, is you have to go back to them, right?
Oh yeah.
That is the key. And in my younger years, it was easy to say when there wasn't a deadline, there wasn't a paycheck, there wasn't an agent saying, where is it? To say, oh, I don't have it. I'm not feeling it. Okay, I got this far, but I just need to live and be and live with it. And, there's no time for that. So at a certain point, you just have to get the draft. It doesn't have to be great, but it has to be down. And then from there, you can make better.
There's a lot of that, I think, with like action creating momentum. A lot of people will. There's loads of things you could put this to as well, like fitness journeys and diets and like mental health and all of these kind of things. Of like you wait for something before you start. I feel like just starting then generates a bit of momentum and energy and a feel for it, and then you actually get to, I don't know, pick up from it when you've just done something, but rather than nothing. I think about that with what you said, Mike. You just get as far as you think you can and then move on to something else. I think that's a lot of when I do that, I then actually, because I'm not thinking about it, I'll have an idea for the thing that I just stopped. Then I'm never really paying that much attention to the thing I'm doing. That's a bad thing, isn't it? That's not ideal. I think the difference is as well, I don't often go back to stuff. So any creative process I have 1,000 notes on my phone because I'll have an idea and I'm like, oh, I now have to ask Siri to remind me to follow up on those ideas, like when I get to work, so it pops up. Then I'm like, snooze that, don't acknowledge it. I've got to go back to it. I need a creative way to remind myself to do the things I set lists for, I think. Maybe I'll have it in the shower.
Yeah, maybe. We had a topic to talk about AI. I don't use AI a lot, but what I have done, Ruby, is because I'll do the same thing. I have a notes document of just snippets, fragments. It could be a line of dialogue. It could be an image. It could be a scene. It could be and I just put it all down. And in the past, I'd have to then go in and organize those into buckets. What this is now is so great. Just copy and paste it into Claude is what I've been using. Hey, organize this in a way I'm starting to beat out the script. And it does this amazing job of doing headings and beats. And here's what you have here. And here's what you need to flesh out. And this would go.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's been amazing. Kind of like having an assistant doing all that work. Saves a lot of time.
There you go. AI assisted creative process. Who'd have thought it?
Who would have thought?
It's great.
It tells me I'm great all the time.
Yes,
that's
Robert,
the greatest
that is such
idea.
a good idea. Yeah, Mike, I feel like you've had a really good way of utilizing those kind of organizational things with AI for the longest time. Probably one of the first people I knew that did it and did it well as well.
It's amazing. Yeah. It like to Robert's point, it's great now. Like AI can take over your computer and organize your folders for you and rename files. Like this weekend, as silly as it is, I took all my screenshots and threw them in, and then it renamed them based on what they are, so that now I can kind of categorize them and put them into their appropriate project folders and all of that. And that's stuff that I hate doing. Like I don't want to sort through hundreds of screenshots and rename them. That takes away from all of the other things that I need to move forward. And it's like, so it never got done. Now I can, and it's great because now I can just go into that folder and look through, what I need to look through. It's much more efficient.
So for creative blocks, so far we have showers, driving, dog walks, picturing a trailer.
I bounce a tennis ball. I pace and bounce a tennis ball. That's my equivalent of going for a walk. I do like the shower idea. But in the morning, you'd be surprised if I don't set out, if I'm taking the shower for the point of hygiene, you'd be surprised when you finally relax what pops into your head. Just when I didn't take the shower for the purpose of clearing my mind for work. It's just, you're relaxed, you're going, and then all of a sudden it's amazing what pops into your head. And you're like, damn, I should have thought of that, earlier,
Yeah. That's why I don't take showers first thing. Like I'll work until there's a block, and then I'm like, I'll just take a shower. Then the idea comes, Now you can't do this when you're at work, Ruby, at Warner Brothers, probably, but when you're working remotely.
At the office, actually. Yeah.
Really?
Actually, I was going to say this with if you're in a intense space writing, you should recommend shower breaks. Just let everyone go and just have 10 minutes of just not thinking. They'd be like, I know.
Not HR, not.
Yeah.
No, I swear. It's.
Have you ever tried
drugs?
What it's
no,
called now.
Ruby. I don't. I do not recommend.
Well, let me pivot then. Have you ever tried writing in the morning? Have you ever tried lucid writing, I think they call it, just first thing.
Where you're kind of hazy. Yeah.
Full pen and paper, no phones, no, don't pick up any electronics, just that
I don't do. But when I'm doing my 2-week stint, when I'm just off and I have to get a draft, before my mind is awake enough to say, don't do it or you can't do it, I literally roll out of the hotel bed and I just start typing in the file before I'm lucid enough to make up an excuse there.
It's meant to be, it's part of the difference of the type of parts of our brain that think creatively and sort of have that space versus the analytical process, things we know and programmed to know. It's meant to be where I don't know why I'm making a box as if the beginning of the day is in the box. It's meant to be where your true sort of lucid thoughts come from.
But I do think people try to do that artificially, all jokes aside. I think some people unfortunately turn to illegal substances to get in that state. Yeah, which I just, no thanks. I've got enough issues.
Yeah, well, innocently, if you wake up in the morning, sometimes you're going to have better thoughts than... But this is I said earlier, some people function much better first thing and some people are become alive in the evening. Mike, I seem to remember you would be late at night and early in the morning, your brain would just be 1,000 miles a minute. You do loads of work. And
it's interesting to me because I think as I've learned, the first thing in the morning, I want to get all of the executional stuff done. I want to reply to the emails and I want things that I know absolutely need to be done and to have action and that are clear action steps. I knock those out and it feels really great. And then my battery, like you were mentioning earlier, Ruby, starts to drain, but the creativity doesn't, because in the evening time, if I'm laying on the couch or I'm getting ready for bed, sometimes hours pass by because I'm in my note and I'm typing to myself. And I think curiosity is what just keeps me going. I love it. I'm like, oh, well, what if this happens? And what about this project? And, you know, if this happens, then this can happen and this can happen. It's connecting all of those dots, which really keeps me going. So sometimes I'll look at the clock, it's 9 o'clock and then it's 2 a.m. and I'm like, oh, I got to go to bed. And it's hard to shut your brain down at that point.
Yeah. That's very cool. I love how everyone's like brains work differently as well. What spawns those kind of ideas? You're like, let me get everything out of the way, and then you can actually start to I don't know, be creative, see what comes up.
Yeah. But I think it's interesting how you said, Mike, the what if, because that's how I operate too. I think probably any problem solver does. Is those what if scenarios. Like for you, it's like for me, it's what if the character does this, what if this happened, what in a story sense. But in any situation, asking those questions is how you creatively come to a solution. Mm-hmm. And like you're saying, Derek, no, bad idea, good idea, maybe. It's always asking yourself those what ifs.
So much of what I do too with the projects that I'm taking is seeing the end probably before anybody else can, because I'm like, okay, I believe in this idea. I can see the end, but I'm starting over here, obviously. And so what I'm learning is that even though I can see over here, nobody else can. And so I still have to clear all those weeds. And I think it's so frustrating for me because I'm like, oh, I see it. I know how we can get there. I know exactly what we need to do. And I know how we need to get there. But it's all of the weeds that need to be cleared out along the way. And so I'm hacking away at those weeds. And I think that's the what if scenarios. It's like, okay, I see the end goal. I need to work my way backwards to the beginning.
Strategy, Mike. That's what you're so good at. Like, I see the vision. I know the vision's there. How do we get there? I love it.
I always love seeing writers process, even if it's not my own. It's just to see, oh, there's different strokes for different folks. What works for someone and may not work for me. But I just love how people get excited. And that, like you're saying, Ruby, it does excite you because you figure if they can do it, I can too. Now, a suggestion for the listening audience, because we're always trying to come up with a topic. I'd love to hear, like, what does someone want us to talk about? I don't know. If anyone has any thoughts.
We have a new contact form that I built too. So use our contact form on the new link tree that we have. Contact us, fill out the form, and tell us. We'll talk about it. Maybe.
I'm curious to see what comes up.
I'm excited to hear what they have
There's
to say.
No bad
whether
ideas.
We agree or disagree with them.
Right. We've established that. We will not.
Exactly. Unless you're apparently Andrew, who eventually went on to be
so clearly
president of whatever. But as stupid as a thought is, it's best to put it out there.
Any idea is, you can say it's a bad idea, but how about this one? Like, it does, anything that people say can either steer you towards or away from something. So.
Yeah. And I'm my own worst critic. So I'm like, dumb, stupid. That's a terrible idea. It's self-criticizing. But that's how you get to the good idea.
Now, Robert, you didn't like being in a writer's room, but because obviously they need to do that because of the expediency at which they write those things. But if you could be in a collaborative environment where people like posted to a message board and you had time to ruminate on it and then give your own concept back, if there could be some sort of non-live writer's room, could you function better in that environment?
I could do a writer's room if I was the showrunner. Like if you're the one just fielding the input and your rule of laws, goes, that's a different situation. But when you're kind of all in there, it's a pack of, wolves. It's not my thing because there's a lot of ulterior motives. There's some very generous people, very supportive people of each other, right? And then there's people that aren't. There's a lot of people who are kind of cutthroat and in competition and shooting down ideas in a way that's not super collaborative. And you got to get a tough skin, and I've never had one, so it's not for me. And the people running the rooms I was in were so generous and supportive people. It's not like it came from the top. And I'm not saying this because I'm not, you have stand-up comedians in a room and they're used to performing in front of people. So they're much more outgoing and they're loud and they'll pitch a million things. And they're used to people not liking what they pitch and maybe shooting it down, and then they have a comeback, and then, it's just not my personality. It takes, I think, a certain personality. Now, the showrunner, I'm talking about Mal Williams, would say to me, look, it's like a baseball team. You form a team based on strengths. You have a strong hitter. You have someone who's strong pitching. It's not all about everybody who can pitch in a room and being loud. It's, he felt my strength was always on the page in the draft. He's like, that's invaluable. Once you have the draft, then it's great to have someone. We had a guy who was amazing with jokes. Billy Reback, I'll say his name. He was amazing. He was like incredibly funny. He could just think up these jokes. Boom. I mean, probably 50% of every line in Home Improvement. That might be generous, but it was a lot. Or Billy's. And he was also the guy that warmed up the audience. He was like the warm-up guy. And he was incredibly, side-splitting, funny guy. Yeah, he was funny. He was funny. So you had those people in a room, and he was always great with me, but it's a bit intimidating because he's loud, he's fun, he's quick. And so it's hard to get your bearings if you operate at a different pace, like if you're more thoughtful or you need a minute to formulate a creative idea and you have all this input and the room's moving at 1,000 miles per hour and you're going at 100. It's just, if you're not on the same pace.
For Mike and Ruby, I mean, Ruby, you have some office days, I would assume. I know for me, it was a challenge with the remote thing starting with COVID. And now, I'm thankful to be able to work from home. But there is a small part of me that misses an office setting because I do crave that, I don't like necessarily the meetings where you're stuck there for a whole hour, but being able to see someone a couple desks down and just ask them something really quickly and vibe with them for 5-10 minutes, and where you don't have to wait for their Zoom call or Teams them, you can just go there and do that. I do miss that environment, of working in an office, but I'm extremely thankful to be able to work, remotely. But I was just curious, Mike, Ruby, if you guys have any feelings similar to that.
I hate an office, but I love people. I love the people in the office. So, I love going to see them. I had to do the commute to Culver City when I worked at Apple, and that was, a 2.5 hour drive. So that throws back to the creative discussion, because that was a lot of creative time in the car, which was a lot of fun. But I think, for me, it's just about spending time with the great people in the teams and hearing new perspectives and getting it that isn't inside of a box that's in a scheduled meeting that you're talking about a specific topic. Then if you're in an office, you can actually have the friendly conversations and of course talk about work too. But
yeah, I'm similar. I actually bumped into colleagues as I was leaving today, and they were saying about how they've been traveling to some of the different offices that we've set up and how nice it is to connect with people in the teams in other places. And I think me and my role, lucky to have the flexibility. So normally I'll work from home in the mornings, but it has to be said, I am sick to death of speaking to my laptop. These are great and it's nice to see you all in boxes, but I think I zone out after a while. My days where I work from home, it's so unnatural to talk to a computer, and sometimes it's bearable when it's conversations with good people or about good things that I'm actually interested in. But being in the office and just being able to be around people's, energy and emotions, just little things, it doesn't have to be so formal. It's not scheduled time and you get to bump into people. I'm leaning towards that being a better environment for me, mentally. I feel like talking to a computer is so inhumane in so many ways. It just feels wrong. I feel like I've been doing it since COVID for far too long. And it's not where I do my best work, but I try and do the real admin-y type or big meetings with lots of people around the world on the days that I'm not in the office, so that I can get those over and done with, and then do the actual with a human in person conversations. And like I said, be getting creative, trying to be a bit more solutions focused in a room where I have a whiteboard pen and I can draw and I can color code things. And that's I'm very visual. That's what I love. I don't even remember what your question was, Derek, but you've got me spun up on the difference between working at home or in an office. But that's my creative flair. I was going to say juice. It's not the right word, is it? Is get me in a room with a human, having some problem, give me a load of whiteboard pens, and then I'll come back and add it to the list and probably not get to it.
that was really cool hearing from you guys about, the creative process and how all that works. But we want to hear from you, the audience. What do you think? Give us your feedback. How do you get your creative juices or creative mojo flowing? What works best for you? Are you a morning person, a night person? How do you deal with writer's block, creator's block, whatever? We want to hear from you in the comments. Check out the link tree with all of our social links and our contact form that Mike spent a great deal of time putting together for us, which is awesome. Thank you, Mike. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast. That's it for today. We'll catch you all next time.
Can we be frank?